Hello class. Today in this video we're going to talk about the last practice questions which is described here. So the context of this problem is suppose you're a bicycle shop in a downtown and you can buy from you two suppliers. These are the name of two suppliers. In order to buy from them, you have to set up a contract, and there is fixed cost to set up the contract. The fixed cost is given here. And there's also variable cost for purchasing the bicycle from different suppliers. You want to purchase four types of bikes: kids, mountain, comfortable, and the road. And here's the purchasing cost for buying these type of products from two suppliers. As you see here, there's no dominant suppliers here because, for example, for kids, it's actually better to buy from supplier this Ember's imports. But for example, for road, it's actually better to buy from wholesale biker. So there's no dominant suppliers here. And your choice is okay for these two suppliers. Who do you want to buy from, or you can buy from both? That's one set of decision variable. Another is the allocation variables. That is for each type of products, how many you're going to buy from each of these suppliers. And as you see here, there's a logic constraint here. That is, you can only buy from a certain supplier if you are contracting with them. So as you see here, the binary variable, yes or no, variable is correlated, it's somehow related with our allocation variables. Okay, so that's the problem. Let's go to the spreadsheet and see how we can solve this in Excel. So here is the basic parameter of this problem: the cost of buying from each supplier, and the selling price of each bike, and the demand for each type of bikes. Okay, so this is the allocation variable, which is for each suppliers how many you buy, how many kids bicycle, and how many mountain and comfort the road to buy from each suppliers. And here is the binary variable, which indicates whether you're going to contract with each supplier or not. There's fixed cost if you're going to contract with the suppliers. And there are three set of constraints. First is the demand constraint, which says the total amount of bicycle you purchase could not be greater than the demand because you could not sell them. So the total amount of bike you buy from for keys is sum of the bike for keys you're going to buy from each of the suppliers. Okay? It has to be less equal to the total demand for kids, which is this. And we can easily copy this formula for the other four types. Okay, so if you double click this, you can see this basically says the total amount of bike you buy for road has to be less than the total demand for road bikes. And the next set of constraint is the money used constraint, budget constraint. Basically says total amount of money you spend for purchasing these bikes has to less equal to the total amount of money you have. So the total amount of money you spend purchasing the product is the unit cost of each bike from each supplier multiplied by corresponding quantity of each type of bike you purchase. So this is the money spent has to be less equal to the total money you have. As we see here, the budget amount is 50,000. This is your budget amount. The next one is the fixed cost constraint, which is a very important constraint, and the concept is a little bit tricky to understand. The idea is for each type of bicycle, for all the bicycle you buy from supplier Hoser, which is supply H. Right? This is the total amount of bike you purchase from these suppliers. The thing is you can only buy from these suppliers if you contract with them. So it has to be less than something related to whether you contract with the supplier or not. Okay? So if this contract variable is 0, then that's great. Then you can't buy this from the supplier. So it's less equal to 0, then you're fine. But if you buy from this, then you can't just write that this capacity is 1, right? Because if you buy them, this value equal to 1, but you can't write this constraint as less equal to 1 because that means you can only buy 1 unit from them. So usual practice is to multiply by a very big number, say 1000. You can try different numbers, but the solution may be the same. And you may ask, okay, how big is enough? What usually a rule of thumb is you can calculate the amount for all the bytes, right? Which is 3,000, which is 300. So as long as this number is larger than 300, you should be fine because the total amount of byte you purchase will not be greater than 300. And you can easily copy this cell into the next row to get the constraint for next suppliers. Basically, this total amount of byte you buy from the supplier has to be less than to this. Basically says if you don't contract with them, you can't buy from them. Okay? The total revenue you earn is basically the amount of byte you purchase, which is calculated here. This is give you the amount of bike you purchase for kids, mountain, comfort, and roads multiplied by their selling price. So this is the total revenue you earn. Fixed cost is some product of your fixed cost of contracting with these suppliers multiplied by whether you're going to contract with them. Variable cost is basically is the total money you use, which is here, is given here, but we can is given here. We can also write the formula again, which is the total amount of bike you purchase from each supplier for each type, multiplied by their purchasing cost. And then the net profit is basically the revenue minus the total cost minus the variable cost. So and basically finish up setting up the model. We can go to the solver and solve the problems. Go to data, solve. Let me clean this up first, just to show you how to set up the model from scratch. Okay, so the objective function is very straightforward. It's total cost. Changeable variable, which is the allocation variable, as well as the contracting variable. The constraint is we said three sets of constraints. This is the total amount of money you purchase to be less than, made a mistake here. It's the total amount of you purchase to be less than the demand. And you're going to add another set, which is the budget constraint, to be less than the total money you have. And then you're going to add total amount of, this is the capacity or the fixed cost constraint. It says you can only buy if you contract with the supplier. And we're going to add another set of constraints which says this contract variable, they are binary. We can press OK. And we're going to use simplex LP as our solution method and click solve. And we can get a solution. As you see here, we don't have sensitivity report because once you get an integer variable, you don't have sensitivity report. Press OK. So let's see how we're going to interpret this result. First, let's look at a contracting variable. It says contract 1, this is 1, so you're going to contract with Hoover's bike, probably because it's easier to set up the contract because the setup cost, the fixed cost is smaller. Once you decide that, you will decide how many bikes, each type of bike you're going to purchase from the suppliers. So you're going to purchase 60 kids bike, 100 mountain bike, comfort bike, and road bike from each suppliers. So as you see here, this is exactly equal to the demand, so you're going to purchase these bikes to satisfy your demand. And as you see here, the capacity constraint, since supplier B is not contract with, so you don't actually purchase anything from supplier B. Since you contract with supplier A, the Hoover bike, so you can purchase from them. So this, as you see here, this arbitrary large number ensure that you can buy as many as you want. And this is your total cost. So that's all for this model. And this is a relatively complex model. So if you can understand and solve this problem, you should feel great. And I will see you on Wednesday.